Can you explain what that might mean to the contractor that maybe either needs one or has been told they need one and doesn't really understand what that looks like? Can you just explain what it is in again, layman's terms?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're talking about CMMC, a lot of times you're going to find information about a migration and like a migration is required and different things regarding a migration. And I want to clarify what those requirements relate to. So with part of the CMMC law and requirements, the Department of Defense, the government said that, hey, if you have CUI information and require that CMMC Level 2 compliance, CUI cannot be hosted in just any cloud service provider out there. For those individuals that are not familiar with what the cloud is in the IT world, the cloud is most of the services that you use today. Almost everything is in the cloud these days. That means it's in a data center owned by some company and it's being operated by their staff somewhere. One of the most common clouds that almost everybody uses is Office 365. Most businesses are using Office 365, and all those services are hosted in a Microsoft data center somewhere and operated by Microsoft. They have international global teams and presence. And how this all relates to CMMC is that the Department of Defense, there's another standard that the government uses for cloud services. It's called the FedRAMP standard. So all these cloud service providers like Microsoft, Google, Amazon Web Services, they all, in order to do business with the Department of Defense and be able to sell products to the Department of Defense, they had to go through this FedRAMP certification. In many cases, this required them to make a separate cloud, if you will. Like there's a commercial Amazon Web Services that services the whole world. Then there is a special version of Amazon Web Services that meets all of the government's FedRAMP requirements. That's AWS for government. Yeah, and so Microsoft, being a cloud service provider, in order to meet those FedRAMP standards that the government put out and required, essentially made a new instance of Office 365. And this instance of Office 365 is called GCC, Government Community Cloud, or GCC High, Government Community Cloud High, and both of which are meant to meet the stringent FedRAMP requirements that the government and Department of Defense put out. Specifically, GCC High was created for defense companies and organizations that are working with the Department of Defense. And it's the main cloud service that we specialize in with DefenseX as a Microsoft partner. So whenever you're talking about a migration in the context of CMMC, typically what is being talked about is a migration from an uncompliant cloud environment to a compliant cloud environment. So if your organization is servicing the Department of Defense, you have a CMMC Level 2 requirement, and you use SharePoint, you use Microsoft Teams, you use your Outlook to have your data, the documents that you're working on, and potentially your CUI. Commercial Office 365 is not rated for that and not compliant with the government's requirements. So in order for your organization to be compliant, if that is what your IT architecture looks like, you need to be migrated from commercial Office 365 to the compliant version of Office 365, which in most cases for you, it's going to be GCC High. There's several ways to do migrations. We do migrations at DefenseX all the time. We can do them as quick as our client customer base wants them. And typically, we just recreate all of their files. We recreate all of their emails. They log into their new environment in the compliant cloud in GCC High, and by and large, it just feels like the same thing as previously, except in the background, they are meeting all the compliance standards that the government put out. That's what is typically referred to whenever a migration is brought up in the CMMC context.